And now, at long last, I am very pleased to introduce Brian Foster. Pleased to meet you, Brian. Who will be sharing with us building a solid foundation for awakening.
It's wonderful to see all your beautiful faces. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I don't know if it's done from the beginning here, but I'm going to just take a second to call in the directions. I have some wonderful friends in the East. We invite the spirit of the East to come be with us in this circle, and the spirit of the South. Yes, yeah, welcome. Spirit of the West. Spirit of the North. Spirit of the sky, sun, moon, stars, galaxies. Welcome all the way here, core of the center of Mother Earth. All the mountains, rivers, lakes, streams, plains. Thank you for holding us in this sacred way. Thank you. I'm Brian Foster. I've been an energy healer for 30 plus years. Trained with Barbara Brennan, who has the 4-year school of energy healing. Brennan Healing Science, it's called these days. So what I wanted to talk about today is it's kind of amazing the continuity of what Jim was talking, and he was talking about this, purpose and drive, and I'm kind of been the mechanic of how to fix problems, when they've gotten off, and how to reset it. So I wanted to talk about the hara dimension. When I say hara dimension and hara line, does anyone kind of familiar with that? Yeah. Oh my God, you got it. Yeah.
Sir, did you say hard or horror?
Yeah. Thank you for reminding me, because I once did this talk many, many years ago, and everybody's face got more and more ashen. And they thought I was saying horror, because they were all from New York and New Jersey, and they were saying, it's such a hara. No, the word is H-A-R-A. It kind of means the essence of yourself. And they thought I was doing a talk on such a hara, It's just linguistics. So yeah, hara. It's a dimension. It's the dimension of intentionality. It's the intentionality to come into physical manifestation to accomplish a life purpose. And so there's some mechanics of how that happens. In our original state, we're what we call the core star, that unlimited eternal light consciousness. And then in some mysterious movement of life, the core star essence of who you are decides to come into manifestation, because there's some purpose, some soul purpose to do here. And so there is a configuration kind of above our heads somewhere, and it's called the point of individuation. And the point of individuation is where your essence comes out of the unitive state of consciousness and begins the process of coming into life. And there's a hara line that is bright red and straight as an arrow, straight as a laser. You know how hard it is to bend a laser? You can do it, but it's real hard. And so the intention comes in and straight down and passes all the way through a couple of primary areas in our body, and connects right into the nucleus of the core of the earth. And the first kind of stop along the way, and so the point of individuation is that it has the connection, the knowledge of what your life purpose is. Okay, there's a purpose, there's an intention to do this. And this laser straight line comes into the crown of the head, or where the crown of the head will be, I guess you would say. And then there's a very special point called the soul seat. And it's just kind of associated about the area of the thymus, right in the very center of your body. And the soul seat carries the spiritual longing to accomplish this purpose. There's this, it's just like, ooh, I mean, you know what, longing is a desire. It's like, yes, I'm going to do this, And then the energy is coming down the hara line, and it comes down to the Tantien, which is the center. It's about an inch and a half below the navel. And it's a sphere, a small sphere right in the very center of you that holds the first note, the first tone that brings your physical body into manifestation. Sort of like, in the beginning was the voice, the sound, the tone. There's this dong, and all the cells and molecules and stuff start forming around your tone. And then the hara line goes straight down through the center of you, exits the perineum, and connects into directly the nucleus of the planet. And the Tantien's tone, there's a real relationship between that and the tone of the earth. So it's kind of like you've got a little molten core within you also. And this is kind of what brings us into, this thing. Gotta exist here, for all this to happen. And when we are on our hara line, and the hara line is whole and intact, then the things that you do and the experiences that come to you and how you relate to them and stuff, it just keeps driving you forward to fulfilling your soul's purpose. And of course, this world being what it is, there's lots of little problems along the way. And this hara line can become bent and twisted and frayed and split and bent over and stuff like that. And the different major components along this hara line of intention can not be online. So it's kind of like having shorts in the system. And these shorts and stuff happen through, deep trauma, programming, mental programming, controls, manipulations. From parental civilization, religions, real deep physical trauma and stuff like that. You can move out of the flow with your life purpose. And so what we want to do is to be able to repair and connect that. And this is really difficult conversation for me because my hara line has been severely compromised. I came into this life with a severely compromised hara line and intention. I actually really remember what it was like being in the Middle Ages and speaking my truth and getting punished from it. And it still imprints in how I am. And it's also I come in with about 5 planets in Pisces and no planets in Earth. If you know what, that's like in astrology terms and stuff. So to be able to ground into my hara is very difficult. I was the guy who literally, I walked like this most of my life, trying to get away from the earth just as much. I mean, I was happy-go-lucky. Instead of, kind of just walking like an earth person, and being connected and stuff. So let me try this. There's an exercise that we can learn is how to strengthen and heal up the hara line. And let me just kind of go through this kind of quickly for you, see if you can feel it or not. The strange thing about the hara line is it's actually in a deeper dimension than our energy field. It actually precedes the energy field, which holds emotion and thoughts and all that kind of experience. But the hara line is like the eye of a hurricane. Thoughts and emotions and life is swirling all around and all the destruction and all that in a hurricane. But right in the center of the eye is this deep, calm, total potential. And in some aspects, the hara is also called the faceless warrior. It's like, and you're just right on task and right on purpose. Which like I say, it's really difficult for me. I'm kind of this guy by nature. Like, hey, what's going on? Y'all having fun? But then, there's times, particularly as a healer, there's times where you have to hold the space for someone who's in deep crisis. Somebody's going into rage or terror or whatever. I want to be able to hold myself in a way that is like a really safe container. So the exercise goes where I just bring my fingertips together and put them about an inch and a half below the navel. And it's not a doing, it's not a thinking, it's just an intention to start charging the Tantien. And the Tantien is like a golden reddish sphere right in the very center of your body there. And so I always have to take my consciousness like an elevator and come down and live down below the navel there. It always takes me a lot of breathing and stuff because extra energy starts flowing. And it might take a couple of minutes or whatever till it feels like it's started to charge and fulfill, and the cracks and the broken pieces start to meld and merge together. And then when I do feel it's kind of coming together, I bring my hands in prayer position to help reinforce the intention that the hara line's going to come out of the Tantien through the perineum and straight into the core of the earth. Bright red, laser straight line. And connects in. At which point it really helps my posture. It starts creating some heat and warmth. And just know if you're doing it with your eyes closed, you're going to tend to be doing it from a little higher vibration. So when we keep our eyes open and maybe cast either level or down or whatever, keeps us in the physical more. And there's also hara lines that come out of the Tantien, across the hips, and down the feet, and exits right in front of the heel, right in the center of the foot, which is the center of the leg. to the core of the earth, which is really cool because now we have a 3-point connection into the earth. Much more stable than this one little wiggly line for those of us who aren't prone to be grounded. And as we start getting a good connection there, we're going to leave one hand, doesn't matter which, holding the lower end of the line. One hand disengages, fingers come together and come to the soul seat. And intention is to just start charging and holding the soul seat energy. I always go back down to the Tantian first to reestablish that as home base for my consciousness. Into the soul seat, and then the perfectly straight line between the Tantian and the soul seat. We get a good connection there, and we open the hand up. The intention, the hara line goes right out the crown of the head. You can put your hand over the top of your head if you choose. Extend out through the longest finger. The point of ID is like a little ice cream cone pointing downwards. The hara line's got to click straight into it. It's like snaps in. So as we do that, big rush of energy. Now you are the bridge between heaven and earth. Manifesting your life purpose, setting your intention. Yeah, when top hand gets tired, it can come on down in. We had to hold this position for an hour to graduate the school. If you dropped it, you had just a couple of minutes to pick it back up. Last time I used this in real life, I was in Publix, 5 people in line, I didn't want to wait. I started holding the hara line, didn't have to do the hand things, holding on my shopping cart. I set my intention as this line is going to be the fastest one to move, because I came into such clarity of intention. 3 people ahead of me remembered what they had forgotten to get, got out of line, and we moved up. That's powerful. To use your morality. Thank you so much.